Deep in the heart of Lapu-Lapu City, in the Philippines, exists a calm and peaceful village called Mactan. While Lapu-Lapu City is a highly urbanized city, with the Mactan Cebu International Airport considered the second busiest airport in the country, the village of Mactan was a tranquil sanctuary unaffected by the hectic urban life. It was home to Christine Lee Silawan, a 16-year-old schoolgirl. One day in March 2019, the calm of the peaceful village was shattered when the lifeless and severely disfigured body of Christine was found in the middle of a 2-hectare vacant plot, after undergoing what must have been a truly horrifying ordeal. The crime was so severe that it sparked a national outrage with a demand for the death penalty to be reinstated. What happened to Christine was truly horrific, and even though the case has been officially closed, there still lies a sense of unease and dissatisfaction within the community, with many fearing that the real perpetrators of the act are yet to be identified and justice yet to be served. But before we dive fully into this story, I would love you to like this video, subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. Christine Lee Silawan was one of the students at Maribago High School in her town. Similar to other young people today, she loved the K-pop band, BTS, and enjoyed watching animes. She was also a volunteer church collector for a nearby church called the Sacred Heart Parish located in Pajak. Every Sunday at 4 p.m., Christine would leave her home for church to carry out her duties, and she would return home promptly by 7 p.m. after the service. However, one Sunday, she failed to return home by 7 p.m. that night. Christine's mother, Lourdes Silawan, became worried. It was out of character for Christine not to return home after the service. She was so worried that she alerted the Philippines National Police, known as the PNP, and the search for Christine began. Very early the next morning, Lourdes began a desperate search for her missing daughter. Her first location was the Sacred Heart Parish, the last known location where her daughter had been seen. She went frantically through the church logbook and found confirmation of her daughter's attendance the previous evening. Conversation with other churchgoers who had last seen Christine led to a chilling revelation. Christine had been seen in the company of 3 unfamiliar men. This served to heighten her mother's worries about her whereabouts. That same morning, some locals who happened to be passers-by made a grim discovery. They were shocked to find the lifeless body of a teenager, half-clad, right in the middle of a field nearby Christine's home. The once very peaceful community was confronted with a nightmarish reality. The horrifying body was that of a young woman with no clothing on her from the waist down. She had been mutilated with half her face missing, exposing the skull beneath. The sight was so gruesome that none of the local residents could immediately identify the victim. They acted quickly and notified the police. At first, the police suspected a case of forceful intercourse and a murder case. According to an initial investigation, a stab wound was found on her neck, possibly the cause of her death. But after an autopsy, it was realized Christine lost half of the skin on her face because of an acid that was poured onto her face. The forensic team suggested that she was still alive when the incident happened, and that was done before the skin was peeled off. Then, they also found out that not only was she missing the skin on her face, but her tongue, trachea, esophagus, parts of her neck, part of her right temporal hair, and her right ear were also missing. The public attorney's office forensic team also confirmed that Christine had been forced upon based on bleeding that was found inside her genitals. While multiple stab wounds were found on her body, including her neck, the forensic team found that Christine had been strangled to death using a rope. The police also thought that the killer may have been high on some mind-altering substances and might have been in a fit of rage because of how brutally Christine was murdered. The possibility of it being a ritual killing was also stated. The chilling confirmation arrived soon after, when a family member heartbreakingly recognized the remains. The body was indeed that of Christine Silowan. The appalling news sent shockwaves not just through McTan but resonated on a national level. The heinous nature of the crime left the country boiling. The unanimous voice of the people was calling out for justice for Christine. In response, the government issued a 2 million pesos reward for any information leading to an arrest. The public outcry was so intense that it prompted the National Bureau of Investigation, known as the NBI, to work on the case, bolstering the effort of the local authorities. Soon after, the manhunt began. According to the Department of Social Welfare and Development, DSWD, Christine was murdered between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. on March 10, 2019. During the investigation, Christine was seen in a CCTV footage walking with a man on that Sunday evening. This was the last known footage of her alive. The police investigation led to a suspect by name Jonas Martelbano. He was initially arrested for the murder of a 62-year-old farmer in Dinio City, Cebu. But this time, he denied having any involvement in Christine's death. The police suspected him because the style of the killing of the farmer was strikingly similar to that of Christine's. Jonas, however, continuously denied having any involvement in Christine's murder. After some more investigations, Jonas was let off the hook on Christine's murder. He had cited some alibis which surprisingly checked out. The case took a dramatic turn when the police suspected a man identified as John, who was Christine's ex-boyfriend. He became the primary suspect because Christine broke up with him just a few days before her death. The police that was looking at jealousy as the possible motive investigated the conversations the two made on Facebook Messenger. The police was also looking for evidence of the suspect's usage of a fake account to lure the victim into meeting her. Based on those clues, and also because of some suspicious messages that were deleted, John was arrested at his home. The NBI stated that John confessed to committing the horrific crime driven by intense jealousy. He even admitted to having accomplices. CCTV footage from that Sunday evening shows Christine with a man. And in one particular frame, she is seen to be in a dispute with him. The NBI confirmed that based on their analysis, the man in the frame was Christine's ex-boyfriend, John. Text messages from John's phone revealed a plan to meet with Christine after the Mass that Sunday. The NBI alleged that John had used a fabricated Facebook profile to lure Christine into meeting him that evening. They also claimed that John had confessed to discarding the murder weapon, a set of knives. But despite the mounting evidence, the investigation was made difficult when John's family strongly opposed the assertions made by the NBI, stating that he had an alibi. John's mother claimed that her son was playing basketball with his friends and doing household chores on the day of Christine's murder. She added that her son would have been on the run if he had committed the murder. What's more, it was John himself who answered the door when the police came to the family's house with an arrest warrant. John's drug test had also come out negative following the police assertions that the culprit may have been on mind-altering substances. But police was at first certain that John was the killer, because according to the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, eyewitness testimony and CCTV footage showed that Christine was walking away from the church, followed by John at 6:12 p.m. This is contrary to the mother's claim that he was playing basketball at the time. John was subjected to a psychological evaluation, which according to the NBI proved he was aware of his actions at the time of Christine's murder. John's family, however, hired the services of a lawyer, Vincent Israel, who on March 21 filed a motion for John's release, arguing that the NBI lacked legal ground for the arrest. He claimed that the confession seemed fabricated, even insinuating potential evidence planting by the NBI. The lawyer charged the NBI to conclusively prove that the man captured in the CCTV footage with Christine was indeed John. The prosecutor's office expressed disappointment over the NBI's handling of the case, criticizing the arrest of John without substantial evidence. John was eventually released to the relief of his family, with the sorrowful family of Christine left mourning their loss. Days after Christine was laid to rest, the president of the Philippines requested that John be rearrested, but his attorney swiftly intervened, claiming that according to the documents, the release could not be revoked. However, in a sudden twist, a month after John's arrest, a 43-year-old man by name Renato Yanez confessed to the murder of Christine. He asserted to police that he was driven by a great feeling of guilt. He declared that he had been motivated by his substance addiction and that John was innocent. Yanez, a father of 5 children, confessed to having known the victim. He used a fake profile on Facebook to lure Christine to himself. He said he had texted Christine at 6 p.m. while she was outside the church. He had met her later on outside the church and had asked her to accompany him, but she had refused. Christine had been taken aback since Yanez did not resemble the man she had been talking to on Facebook. Christine began to walk away, but Yanez followed her to a dark, secluded spot known as the sitio. Yanez admitted that he asked Christine to have intimate relationship with him, but she refused. This angered him, so he slapped her twice. He went further to punch her repeatedly, but because it was so noisy, to muffle her screams, he stabbed her until she fell to the ground. In a final act of brutality, he revealed that he had skinned Christine's face to prevent anyone from identifying her. Yanez declared that he had acted alone, asserting that John had not been involved and should be deemed innocent. Despite some indiscrepancies in Yanez's confession, notably his denial of forcing himself on Christine, the case was legally closed. On April 7, the police recommended charging Yanez with murder. However, on the morning of May 28, 2020, Yanez was found dead in his jail cell. Initial reports suggested he ended things himself, leading to swelling speculations. Some believe that Yanez may have been killed by other prisoners. The death of Yanez effectively closed the case, however it left Christine's family with a deep sense of injustice. Christine's mother, Lourdes, said she would not sign the affidavit unless her daughter's ex-boyfriend would be included in the complaint. She couldn't agree to the conditions set, because the police lacked the evidence against John. She firmly believed that John was involved in her daughter's brutal murder. John's lawyer said, "I respect Mrs. Silowan's refusal to sign the complaint affidavit, unless my client is included in the case, but I hope that she would realize that by her refusal, she is refusing justice for her daughter. It is unfortunate that everyone, including my client, is wishing for justice for Christine, yet her mother refuses the very justice our community wishes to obtain. It is indeed the sad end of Christine."